So today we're in Lakeville, Minnesota, and we're looking for the area where the old Chicago Milwaukee and St. Paul depot was. And we're on Upper 208th Street West. This would have been the railroad back in the day. But we've got a question to this because this street is too narrow. This whole area behind me is too narrow to fit two streets and a railroad in. So there's been some major changes here, and we have to figure out what they were. So I'll give you a look here and we'll start there. So this is Upper 208th Street West and Holyoke Avenue, if I pronounced that right. And that street used to be Main Street. See that white truck there going down there? That was Main Street back in the day. And if I turn around this way here, your Upper 208th was actually two streets in this area. So on the left side would have been Front Street, then the railroad, and then Spruce Street would have ran on the other side, on the right side. So the railroad was in between them. And you know what? There's hardly enough room for all of that to happen here. So I have to look at a couple other things because there's been a lot of changes in this area. Some of these buildings were here and some of them weren't. So I need to do a little investigation here just to see where I'm at and where things were. So this would have been Front Street back in the day. You can see that building with the curved roof. I'm sure that was there during the railroad days. So that would have been your Front Street. This would have been your railroad yard over in this area here. And I think where the park is probably where Spruce Street once was. I think it's real close. So that's where I was standing. And I'm looking at this building. Boy, this building sure looks new, doesn't it? So I thought I'd start with this building because it's so interesting. There's a bell tower up there. Just love this old architecture. And right away I'm thinking fire department, but here we go. Want a little history? This is the old fire hall and village hall. Okay, let's see. The building was built in 1901 after voters approved a bond issue for $3,500. That's pretty cool, huh? So from this building, I'm going to work my way back towards where I thought the railroad was. Well, I actually know where the railroad was. There's no thinking about it. It's just that it doesn't fit in that area. So I'm looking at these old buildings. Here's another one. Okay, this one goes back a little older. 1896. See that? So that one's 1896. We were down there at that other one. And now we have a hole here. It's a park now. And Pioneer Plaza, it's called. And look what we see here. You see that? Yeah, that's a carving of an old locomotive. Pioneer Plaza. Okay, so they have these little signs around here that says what some people did, but I haven't seen anything here that says anything about the railroad other than that carving. Okay. That's a dedication to those that, you know, found the city. Yeah. So, let's go back down this way some more again. So here's that building. And there's the intersection down there where the railroad was. It's one of those roads. Remember, there was a road, the railroad, and a road. And a siding. So that's that little park. And right across the street, now that building was the old bank building. And I'm sure there's a date on that too. Well, I had to walk across the street to see when the bank was built, and we're going, looks like the bank was established in 1899, and yeah, 1899, and then 1901 became the Dakota County State Bank. The building was erected in 1910. There you go, 1910. That's the number. It's the angle of this wall, see? It's the angle of this wall that interests me. There we go. See that street down there? I'll bet that came all the way through here. That could be what was Spruce Street back in the day. I'll bet. Does it say anything on this clock? No, I don't see anything there. I thought maybe there was a date. It's a cool clock, isn't it? And now we're across the street, see, from the park. Yeah. Yep. Well, guess what I have to drive through on my way back home? Farmington. And that's where the depot is, in a little town called Dakota City that's at the fairgrounds there. They collect a lot of old buildings. So let's see if we can find out some more information about that depot there. Okay, so this is Heritage Way, and we're in Dakota City. This is that village of buildings that they brought in, you know, historical buildings from different places, and the depot's back in here, and that's where I'm headed. So just a quick look, there's a general store, there's some other buildings down that way. There's a Dakota City Post Office, Dakota City Town Hall, and that, and looks like they're selling lemonade here, and we're heading down that way there. Here's a couple more buildings, and like I say, the Dakota County Fair is going on, so all of these buildings are open to the public. And I believe there's interpreters in there too, so I'm hoping that there'll be an interpreter in the depot. Yeah, that's right. Almost there, man. Now you have to remember that this depot was moved here. And I'm going to see if I can find the date for that too. So when you see these railroad tracks, that's just something they put in for display.
Son? Yeah.
So this is the plaque on this depot that we've been looking at when we've been tracking the history on this depot in Lakeville. And this says it was moved from dog. Smile, you're on camera. So who's the guy that knows everything about this place?
The older man.
The older man. So that plaque outside,
It's all wrong.
it's all wrong.
Yep.
Okay. So when was this
Wait.
built?
You're Anthony, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Mr. B.
Yes, I am.
I know.
You watch my videos?
Sometimes, yes.
Cool.
And you were also at the Randolph Area Historical Society's Randolph Railroad days.
That's right. And right now you're going to be in a video of mine. Is that all right?
Huh?
Is that all right if I interview
that's fine,
you?
that's fine.
Cool.
But you missed the boat.
Did I?
When you were doing the Farmington one, you missed the railroad, rail yard, the Chicago Milwaukee rail yard that was here in town.
Yeah.
Behind Jensen's tractor shed. You walk to the fence line, you can see the old Y that came from the Mankato to Farmington.
Really?
If you would eat at Kelt's, go to the north end of the parking lot, you can see where the line actually curved into the old Hastings and Dakota line. If you're going towards Lakeville, the blacktop on the right-hand side on Highway 50, that was the old Hastings Dakota line that came in front of this building.
Okay. Well, see, that opens up a door for another video. I'll have to get a hold of you so you can show me that stuff.
You're going to be at...
Randolph?
No, not Randolph, but Hastings at the Civil War event, aren't you?
At LeDuc.
At LeDuc, yes.
Yes.
You and Todd?
Yeah.
Yep. I am thinking about going there too.
Okay, so we're inside the depot, and this is Ray Ragula. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Yes, and he's very knowledgeable about this depot. So the plaque outside was wrong. That plaque I showed you about the way it was moved. So he's going to tell you the real story of this depot.
This depot was built in 1869, and its original name was the Fairfield Station. Now, what happened is back in 1869, the Hastings and Dakota Railroad approached a farmer to buy 20 acres of land to build a depot. The farmer did not want to sell the land. So the H&D bought some land about a mile east of Lakeville. Then the town of Lakeville physically picked itself up, buildings and all, and moved it to where old downtown Lakeville is today.
Well, from there, yeah, I went over there, and I'm going to have that in this video. In fact, that's going to be in the video before you.
Okay.
So after it was moved there, that was about what year?
Well, first of all, let's take a step back, because in 1869 this was built. 1870, the Milwaukee and St. Paul Railroad, which is the forerunner of the Milwaukee Road, leased the Hastings and Dakota Railroad, and in 1872 they purchased it.
Come on in.
Okay.
So,
Come in out of the rain.
All right. So that's why it's known as the Milwaukee Road Depot, I guess. But they really didn't build this.
no, this is the only existing Hastings and Dakota depot left anywhere, and it is the only Milwaukee Road depot left in Dakota County.
And earlier you were talking about General LeDuc from Hastings.
General LeDuc was the first president of the Hastings and Dakota Railroad, and he was instrumental in the construction of this depot.
That's really cool history. So when did the railroad close in Lakeville? Is that in the 60s?
It was done in the 60s. I don't remember the exact year that they tore up the track, but you can still see remnants of the old Hastings and Dakota line. As you're going from Farmington to Lakeville on Highway 50, on the right-hand side, you'll see a blacktop bike path.
Yeah.
Path. That was the old Hastings and Dakota rail line.
Okay.
And if you go and have to the north side of Kelt's restaurant here in Farmington on 3rd Street, on the north side you can see where the tracks curve to go out to the old Hastings and Dakota.
Cool. And then it was moved here
In 1970.
1970. Well, thanks for the history. Now we know that plaque's wrong.
And that plaque is wrong because I know that I did the research, and I also went to the Carver County Historical Society,
Okay.
and they verified that this building was never in Carver County.
See?
Because if it was built in 1869 and the rail didn't come into Delaware and Carver County until 1872.
And I'm glad I ran into you today because, you know, I'm following the same path you went down, and now you've saved me a lot of steps. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you like that story now. You know where the depot was in Lakeville, and we know when it was moved here. We know when it was built and who built it. Yeah. Yep, and he showed me a lot of his research in there, so I know he's on top of it, boy, I'll tell you that. So, yeah, so we're back to the Hastings and Dakota that built that. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, catch you on our next one. I think it's gonna start raining. Yeah. God bless you, and I'll see you then.